Hey everybody, welcome to Mommy's World, where no matter how old you get, you never need to grow up. And today's video is aimed more at the parents or the folks that are like over the age of 13, over the age of 18. I made a really long video a while back explaining to you what happened. I mean, it's like an hour-long video with the FTC ruling against YouTube. But we really need your help. We especially need the help of parents because the FTC is giving us the opportunity, giving us as Americans, the opportunity to weigh in on how we feel about the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. And they're looking at revising it. And they want to know, we made some revisions in 2013. And those revisions, by the way, are what is causing this whole sort of catastrophic impact against kids' content on YouTube. And what they did was they decided that persistent identifiers, which are like cookies, you know, like cookie web browser cookie things, that those constitute personal information. And because YouTube uses persistent identifiers in order to do things like suggest videos and put stuff on your homepage, and serve personalized advertising, which is pretty much all of the advertising on YouTube. Because they use persistent identifiers, and they do know that there are people under the age of 13, they have actual knowledge. We all have actual knowledge that there are people under the age of 13 watching YouTube videos. We now have to do a thing where everyone who uploads videos to YouTube has to check a box saying this video is intended for kids, this video is not intended for kids. If the video is intended for kids, a whole bunch of features are going to get turned off and we won't be getting the personalized ads. This is going to have a huge negative impact on the kids' content landscape on YouTube. So if you are a parent who, like me, let their child watch YouTube. I watched YouTube with my child when my child was very little, like, I don't know, Kate was around 6. And as my child got older, they got more and more freedom to watch YouTube in different ways until, they were a teenager. And then I was like, oh, all bets are off. They're watching people who curse. But, and the reason for that was because I didn't like what was on television. And I didn't want my child to watch what was on television, but I did like what was on YouTube. There was creative stuff and interesting stuff and educational stuff that was educational in a way that my 6-year-old thought was funny and enjoyable and didn't realize they were learning. I loved that there were families sharing their lives and they were nice people. Because, reality families on TV, they're not very nice people. And I don't want my kid watching that. But I loved that there were people out there like Kitty's mama who eventually became friends of ours, which is still mind-boggling. But I was like, look at how nice this family is. And there's all of these wonderful families just sharing their lives. And a lot of them, they share their faith as well. Oh no, we can't be having good people sharing their faith. No, can't have that, right? No, but I mean, and then there's all kinds of different families that have all kinds of configurations. There's different races. There's different races married to different races. There's people adopting kids from different countries who have different skin colors. There's men married to women, women married to women, men married to men. There's all these beautiful families who represent to me what really and truly are family values. And they're sharing that on YouTube. And to me, that was such a great thing for my kid. And then there was all the fun, goofy content. Like, I am like foaming at the mouth right now. And I'm like spitting at my camera because I'm just so about this. And there was all the fun content, and there was all the toy content, and all the goofy people that we watch and that we love. And people like Graveyard Girl. I would have never known that such a beautiful human existed, and someone who was such an amazing role model for my child, of someone who is different and unique and quirky and struggles with things like anxiety, but is putting themselves out there, and they're happy and they're awesome, and that people love that person. You have no idea how much that meant to my kid. But with the proposed changes to the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, which was originally created to protect children from like pedophiles and creepers on the internet, from kids' personal information, like their name and where they lived and their phone number and all of that kind of stuff. It was supposed to protect them from that. But in 2013, there were some changes made to the law that included adding in persistent identifiers, which is basically like website cookies, as personal information. And because of that, and because YouTube uses persistent identifiers in order to basically run the whole algorithm and serve advertising, we're going to have to check a box pretty soon. They're going to roll it out, and we're going to have to say, I make content for people under 13, or I make content for people over 13. So all of the people who make content for people under 13 are going to have to check that box, right? You can't lie. And you're going to check that box, and as soon as you check that box, a whole bunch of wonderful features are going to go away, including comments. I mean, I'm still ticked about comments. You don't know, I mean, as a parent, you do know, because I've talked to parents in the comments. I know that the comments are important to the parents. I know they're important to the kids, and those went away because they thought pedophiles were in the comments. Now they're just going away for everybody who makes content for people under 13, and yes, I'm angry about it. And then the other thing is that because YouTube uses those persistent identifiers to serve advertising, in January, when they flip the switch, people who make content for people under the age of 13 are going to be getting little or no money from advertising. And guess what? That's how they make all of their money. So people who have been making really great content for you and your kids to enjoy full time are not going to be able to do that anymore. And so we are going to end up slowly, if this doesn't get fixed, with people having to stop. They're going to have to just go get a job and stop making content, okay? And then what's going to be left on YouTube? All of the people who didn't check the box. The people who make content for people 13 and up. But your 6-year-old is still going to go on YouTube. But there isn't going to be anything there for them. So what can you do? What can you do to make sure that there's still content there for your kid? So the first thing that I need you to do is I need you to stop and think for yourself, because I really want to know. And I want you to answer me. If you're a parent, I want you to answer me in the comments, because I've talking to my friends who are not YouTubers, I keep getting the same answer, but I would love to hear from you in the comments. So basically, YouTube needs to use this little cookie thing that doesn't say like where you live and stuff about your kid. It sort of tracks what they do on the internet. You know how cookies work. You go to this website, you look up a couch, the next thing you know on Facebook, they're giving you ads for couches, okay? So they can't use that on content made for people under the age of 13, right now under the law. Do you care if your kids get served personalized advertising? Like, if they get ads that are relevant to them? Is that like a bad thing for you? Or, I don't know, maybe it is. Because I would think that I would rather have them get ads that are made for them than have them accidentally being served ads that are not made for them. And especially because they might end up having nothing to watch but content that's for people over 13, and they're going to get served ads that are targeted at people over 13. So that to me is like more of a concern. Somewhere along the line, COPPA went from protecting kids from predators and creepers and stuff online to protecting kids from advertising. And so that's kind of a concern. So parents, I have links down below. A huge thanks to Jeremy Johnston from J House Vlogs, who is a beautiful family who have been sharing their lives on YouTube. Beautiful, beautiful family. Absolutely amazing family. And Jeremy's also a lawyer, and he has been doing amazing things for us. He has been meeting face-to-face with commissioners at the FTC, educating them, because guess what? Turns out they didn't know anything about how YouTube worked. But they went ahead and ruled against us anyway. But Jeremy's doing a great job of educating them. But here's the thing. There's this comment period, and there's this website where Americans can go and be heard. And the FTC, guess what? They have to read the comments. It's the law. So they have to read every content. There's been a lot of kids who I think are under the age of 13 who have found their way to this website and have exercised their democratic right to comment about the law. But they have to read those. But I also am encouraging you as parents to just take a minute and just go write a comment. Now, we have some talking points down below that we put together, but you can speak from your heart. But please, I don't want to tell you what to say. If you just really like the whole thing about your kid being tracked on the internet for any purpose, if you're like, Melissa, I'm sorry, I know that this is like gonna hurt people's businesses and stuff, but I'm really not okay with that. You can go ahead, I'm good with that. Go comment that too. Because you see, this is America. And we have freedom of speech, and we have the right to weigh in on what we want the law to be that protects our children. And so if that's what you want from the law, you go and say what you want. But if it doesn't bother you, if you could take a minute to go and tell the FTC that I don't care about persistent identifiers tracking my child online. I don't care. What I do care about is my children having good, safe, entertaining, fun, family-friendly content on YouTube. That's what I care about. And if we take away people's ability to earn a living making that content is going to go away from my kid. And I'm not okay with that. So please take a look. There's a bunch of different links down below. Again, thank you to Jeremy for putting this all together. Kids who are watching right now, I thank you all. So many of you have commented, and I think that's beautiful. And the comments on the video that I made where I said I was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave the comments on for 24 hours because I know that there's kids watching. And then my mother-in-law passed away and I kind of totally forgot about it. And there's like hundreds of comments on that video. And you know what? I'm leaving it on until January when I lose all my comments, because hearing from you guys has meant the world to me. And hearing from adults. And you know what? It's not just parents either. There are grown-ups who watch YouTube who don't want to lose all of this awesome content. Just, you know, adults who really like it. So, you know, please let your voice be heard. November 5th is our day of action, because it's also election day. And so we would love people to comment on or before November 5th. But if you can't do it until, you know, November 12th or whatever, that's fine too. The cutoff is December 9th for people to comment on the law and to let your voice be heard about how you feel about COPPA. Now, an interesting thing that I learned from Jeremy was that when they made the revisions in 2013 and they had the open comment period, there were only 99 comments made. And basically, they based their decision off of whatever the commissioners that were in office at the time thought seemed like a good idea, and comments from 99 people. And right now we have like over 350 comments. With all of our combined channels and all of the millions of YouTube viewers and parents out there who care, we could have tens of thousands of comments. And I think that that would give the FTC something to really sit down and think about. And believe me when I say to you, even if your comment is that I am not okay with persistent identifiers, I want your comment to be there, because everybody should have a right to say what they want for their children. And people in Washington who have no idea how YouTube works are making this decision without your input. So I'm getting so emotional. I don't know why. It's just been a really emotional couple of months. With all of this going on and losing my mother-in-law and my grandmother had a stroke. It's just been a really emotional time. So I thank you all for listening to me. And I thank you all for putting up with my absence from making toy videos, because I've been so busy trying to figure out how to save YouTube for kids and families. And I thank you so much, and I love you guys so much. Please do the stuff in the comments down below. I'm babbling now, so I'm gonna stop. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Oh, by the way, I'm making this on Halloween, so happy Halloween. Love you guys. Bye.